Good morning, everyone, and a happy Monday. This is the week ahead by Benzinga. My name is Brent Slava. I'm head of our news desk. Joining me is Vice President for Benzinga Pro, Steve Big Beador. How are you, sir?
Brent, how was your weekend?
It was all right, man. Just catching up on the news from over the weekend. Still some developments in coronavirus. How about you?
Yeah, I think that I was out a little bit on the weekend seeing people. I wasn't too scared of the coronavirus, so people seem to be okay with it. Don't seem to be in any panic mode.
That's a good sign, right? Okay, so the week ahead, what we're going to do each Monday is we'll give you a quick preview of upcoming items for the week ahead. Also, just a quick review of items over the weekend that might be impacting the stock market on Monday. And coronavirus still is the case here. Just behind me over here on this TV, you can see I'm trying to point there. WHO is hosting a quick presser right now, started about 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple quick updates from there. So he highlighted that the number of the WHO head Tedros highlighted that the number of coronavirus cases in China is declining, and he said he was not going to call it a pandemic as of yet. He said that when it is necessary to call it a pandemic, the WHO will then call it a pandemic. Kind of obvious there. And then Steve, you were highlighting that the one of the clinics in Wuhan that was treating coronavirus had to close because it doesn't have enough patients. Is that right?
That's right. That's good. It's a good sign over there,
Good
right?
sign. Absolutely. Yeah. The number of cases as of today is 89,000. For a little perspective, at the start of last week, we were at about 80,000 coronavirus cases globally. 2 weeks ago, we were at about 73 to 74,000 coronavirus cases. Something that came into the market as of last week that was new is we started hearing a lot of organizations and companies canceling events because of the health risk. Obviously, the big one that we're thinking about is the Olympics. That's not all the way until July, though, so that we should have enough time to get that back going just fine. A lot of sell side firms at the end of last week and over the weekend were changing models to account for a near term Fed rate. And there's a cool tool that the CME does called the Fed Watch tool. It's now showing expectations for a 100% chance of a 50 basis point Fed rate cut at the next meeting. That's March 18th. That's in a few Wednesdays from now. And just 1 week ago, that tool showed an 80% chance that the Fed would keep rates flat at the next meeting. There was a 20% chance for a 25 basis point cut and a 0% chance for a 50 point basis cut. And Steve, last week, I think you even heard that the Fed might be considering some kind of like emergency meeting. Do you know if that's still on the table as of this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the talk is. I heard David Kelly from JP Morgan also say that a possible 75 basis point cut for March. That's crazy. A few weeks ago, I said that
That would put
maybe.
us in the negative, right?
Yeah, it would put us in the negative pretty much. Yep, or really close to it. Yeah, not quite, but yeah, very close to it. What's interesting in this situation is a few weeks ago we didn't need a rate cut. Now all of a sudden we need a rate cut. So that's changed the temperature of the market.
I mean, at least you can understand when the perspective, when the sentiment changes that quickly, at least you know that the authorities out there are being nimble enough to potentially want to account for it. So I would say that is also somewhat positive here. A couple stocks just to highlight for investors out there, coronavirus plays that are working well today. Co-Diagnostics, ticker CODX. This is one we've been talking about for quite some time. They're up 14% today. The company announced that they were going to be providing tests for something called USCLIA Labs. Applied DNA Sciences, its ticker APDN, shares up 56%. They're going to collaborate with a company called Takis Biotech for some vaccine candidates. Traders are viewing that favorably. And just over the last hour or so, we got this one on our radar. It's called Infla Prescription, IFRX, I guess is the ticker. Stocks up 18%. There was a February 21st dated filing for one of the company's subsidiaries about an announcement of approval of an ethics committee for a trial for a new coronary pneumonia treatment. And the street is apparently taking that as some kind of indication that it could potentially help with coronavirus. Steve, anything else real quick to add on the coronavirus front? I'm going to move along if there's nothing else.
I just wish that the average flu, we did the same thing, right? When people were sick, they just stayed home.
Yeah, and that's kind of, if you ask me, the last week of downside, I feel like the market was kind of pricing in an economy that would be working potentially from home over the next few months or so. You think that's appropriate to say?
I agree, 100%.
Absolutely. All right. So a couple notable econ data points that we want to keep our eyes out for this week. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting a reading out of Redbook. It's one of two or three retail firms that look at retail spending. That's at 8:55 a.m. Eastern time. On Thursday, there is going to be an all-important OPEC meeting. That's going to start really early in the United States. It'll start about 5 a.m. or so Thursday morning. A couple notable earnings for this week. After the close today, that's Monday, we're going to be getting earnings out of one of the more important cannabis producers, Tilray, TLRY, continuing the retail earnings season here. Kohl's, Target, AutoZone on Tuesday morning. After the close Tuesday, Nordstrom, Ross Stores. On Wednesday before the market opened, Dollar Tree, Abercrombie and Fitch. On Wednesday after the close, American Eagle. And Thursday morning, Kroger, Burlington Stores, BJ's Wholesale, and just one to spice up the non-retail earnings season. Thursday morning, Sienna, CIEN. Oh, you know what? Actually, Thursday after the close, we got Costco also.
Yeah. So,
All right, a couple of notable upcoming events to look out for this week. Heads up, we do get an indication for U.S. job auto sales this week. Also, Macau data, Vegas data came out at the end of last month. Now we're moving into the new month, so we'll be getting Macau gambling data that will be out. I think it should be out today, actually. Airliners will be reporting some of their traffic data, and we do have a couple notable sell side conferences going on. We have the Morgan Stanley Tech Media and Telecom Conference that's running today to Wednesday. That's an important one. On the March 3rd, that's Tuesday, we're going to be getting a Target investor meeting. On Thursday, March 4th, that is, GM will be hosting their electric vehicle day. And on Friday, we're getting an AMD Investor Day. So a couple quick heads up out there to keep your eye on the radar this week. What else we got, Steve? Anything else out there that I missed on the radar?
for me, I think I want to see mortgage numbers. That's important to me. Housing, especially with interest rates possibly dropping again, could be another boost to the lenders as well as the home builders.
Sounds good, sir. Is that all that's on your radar for the week? Excuse me.
I think a lot of the traders lately have been talking to me about, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on, the coronavirus, this and that. And I think I said on Friday, this too shall pass. Very simple. But we're not there quite yet. But I am very interested in the Costco numbers, COST, coming up. And the reason being is I was in Sam's Club and Costco over the weekend, stocking up a new house, and it was jam packed with people buying the normal necessities. Living in Florida as well, I understand hurricane preparedness.
Mhm.
But this has gone to another level. So water everywhere is gone. I heard Charlie talk about it this morning that he got the last 2 gallons of milk off the shelves. So that's important, right?
And we probably are gonna start hearing more stuff like that. And just as a reminder, Costco earnings, that's Thursday after the close. Big beat, that one will be on your radar. For everybody else out there, thanks for joining. This is the week ahead. We'll be back next week, Monday, 10:45 a.m. Everybody, good luck out there this week. We'll see you next week.